Oh, this is an uncomfortable topic. Us real estate agents are always talking it up, talking it up, talking it up. And this one makes me uncomfortable because we're talking about the worst performing real estate asset class in Sydney, Australia. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
COVID, what have you done, COVID? What have you done? What have you done to this asset class, COVID?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Berger, Mark Novak, episode 1554. Commercial's worst performing asset class, especially since COVID. The office market, I think, at its lowest or biggest significant drop, especially on the northern beaches. I saw about a 70-80% reduction in sale pricing and rental income. There are a couple buildings where there was a lot on the market and we were selling before and after, and you could just dramatically see that difference. But we're almost back to the full market. But Mark, that's a pretty dicey 3 years for owners.
Yeah, what do they call it in commercial? Is that a whale? What's a whale? W
Now,
A
wait,
L E.
yeah, a whale is when you're buying an asset, the average length of all the leases. So it's
So
more
the
on a mixed tenancy.
So the whales just got thrown out completely in the last couple of years, where it used to be so predictable how long your leases would be, and tenants in and tenants out, and then the attitude of workers and the attitude of the government um, and the environment changed completely with COVID, which changed people's attitudes.
Yeah,
So
there
the
would.
whole office thing just got hammered.
Yeah, there were two very different attitudes between owners. You found that, well, it was three, but the main one was your investor who's borrowing quite often to buy multiple properties. They almost got hit the hardest because they were very reluctant to drop the rent because they knew that would impact the valuation instantly, where there's a bit of leniency when it's vacant, um, compared to your owner who may have bought it yesterday or may have owned it 30 years ago, but wasn't really, regardless if they had a mortgage on it most of the time, they were more just like, let's get some rent coming in. Very similar to the residential model, like just get what you can. I'm not looking, and I would say to clients, like, if you're not looking to refinance and buy something in the next couple of years, there's really no harm in taking a rent 50-70% lower. um, it's only if you're looking to buy a new house or anything like that, because it would dramatically change the impact. So those owners who said, no, we're not looking to do anything, let's just get the income, you found that they took the lower deals, which were low, and we're still seeing tenants on those wickets now. We saw one not too long ago in Brookvale, Mark, when they were talking about subleasing, just the amount of overall rent they're paying. And I think some agents did make, I don't want to call it an error, but when we went through that, I advised not to do anything longer than a 1 or 2 year lease. Definitely not 5 years at that lower rent. Um, so there were some really good deals with tenants and some owners who had it empty for 2 to 3 years.
So are they? Is that? Does that mean that now that there's that whole return to work thing, which which by the way we're seeing a lot. A lot of people saying, we've done the home thing, and the home thing just doesn't really work for us working from home. Um, so is that now going to be the best performing asset class?
If you bought it with the drop, it's definitely the best. Because nearly all buildings have recouped to the rates they were selling pre-COVID. One building's exceeded it, the lifestyle building in Brookvale. That's, if you told me when I started real estate that would sell, those office rates would be higher than retail rates, I never would have believed you. In line with industrial rates, it's crazy how well that building's done. It still took a hit during COVID, but not as dramatic. Um, but like your buildings in Warriewood and your inferior buildings in DY, they've virtually come back to the rates within 10%. So just in the last, what's that, 3 years, that's between a 50 to 70% increase. And I suppose where a lot of people can miss that benefit, like anyone who had owned an office for many years and they saw how low it went would have known that's very good value. But when potentially only one sells every 6 months or a couple done off market, you don't necessarily see the trends. It's not like residential in DY where there's 20 apartments selling a week or a month and you can just see trends very instantly. With commercial, can be a lot harder to spot.
But I think the fundamentals of an office, they ain't changed. They're not going
No,
anywhere. I understand the work from home, the location, like people were sweating the asset from home. Their home was an office as well. But the whole principle of having an office was available to people for 50 years. And they could have chosen home, they chose office.
I,
And it felt like a little bit of a lolly when everyone said, okay, you can work from home. It's like, yeah, 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 yeah. But really, people were like, I need to be with my team. I need to be able to train. I need to be able to learn. I need to be face to face. So people have sort of naturally gravitated back to the office. It's a
I
huge
also
fault.
I also think what helped that as well, and residential interest rates. Like while this we had this big downturn in office market, you could everyone was buying bigger homes because your interest rates was 1.5 to 1.9%. So to
Why
buy the
not?
4 bedroom home instead of the 3 bedroom to have the home office, it
Yeah.
seemed like the no-brainer. It's like, why pay 20, 30 grand a year rent in an office when you could buy a 4 bedroom home for an extra couple hundred grand and pay 5 grand a year extra in interest? Very
Yeah.
different
That's a
calculations
good
now.
point. That's a
Yep.
good point. It was a free hit to work from home was a free hit in a couple of different ways in terms of lifestyle,
Yes.
and in terms of financially, it was you could upgrade your home, be paying less than what you were paying the couple of years before that, and you're like, how good's this? I got an office, got to work from home. After a
Yeah.
couple of years now, people are going, yeah, I really want to get in there.
It's definitely one of those things where you always hear it from buyers where it's like, oh, we'll buy when the market slows down a bit. And I remember during this period speaking to buyers, like these rates are 30 years old rates. Like office rates haven't been below 3 grand a meter for so long, and no one would buy it because it's that old saying when everyone goes left, can you go right? It's one of those things where it's like, well, if no one wants the asset, neither do I. Rather than looking like what has impacted that asset. Okay, here's the difference.
The
Do you look at the impact,
fundamentals.
the
Mm,
fundamentals for the drop in office market compared to the fundamentals to the drop in the retail market? The office market, you could quite comfortably say, will bounce back. The retail market, that's a big consumer
yeah,
shift. The banks have
yeah, it's
shifted how they
digital.
build. Yeah. So there's a big difference in how you look at those assets.
That's a really good point. I was talking with a really experienced landlord a couple of weeks ago, and I can't stop thinking about the conversation because he was talking about industrial, and he was saying industrial Brookvale they couldn't give them away, and he was just
Hmm.
laughing because he went and bought retail, he went and bought shops, strip shops, and he's like, man, every like now that's sort of not performing as well. So he's like, and now the industrial's performing really well.
Yeah. You've definitely got to really have a look at it over that 20, 30 years to see what it does. But industrial, especially even since I've been doing it, I've sold some properties 4 times and the price went from 400 grand to 1.2 just in that sort of 10 years, 15-year time span. One in Narrabeen went from 1 million to 2 million, doubled. And the rent went less both times. That doesn't make sense. The income of the
That doesn't
property
make
got worse,
sense.
but
Can we go out
money
with a
gets cheap.
bang?
Yep.
Yeah. Can we go out with a bang? Give and I want to get your opinion on the commercial industrial. I'll do a little bit of residential as well. What's shit hot at the moment? Resi, resi
Yeah,
rents.
it's anything industrial storage. I think will have the best returns with rental
Wow.
yields. Um, Industrial units are still very popular, but the rental yields are low. But if you're an owner occupier, you want to occupy it, then that's great. And then I think there could be a big shift with the development of freestanding properties in Brookvale. You've got the 18-meter height limit now. That opens up so many more different potential for development where you can do very good storage of 6 meters, 5 meters, rather than your 3 meter storage. And we've in French's Forest, we've nearly sold out of all the storage with 5 meter clearance, which is amazing, just in like 3 months. So that's very, very popular stock. So I think
Okay.
anything to do with that industrial.
And what's not hot now? I know we don't like to talk about this as real estate agents. We always want to talk it up, but what's
Yeah,
not hot?
tenant investments, retail shops with tenants, because owners are still trying to get around a 6% yield, but buyers are getting mortgages at 8%. So it's not looking as hot. And the lead time to rent them out is taking a lot longer.
Michael Burgio.
Where are
That's a
you?
show.
What
Hey?
about you? Your opinion?
What?
Are you just happy
I
with mine?
think I'm happy with yours. I'm happy with yours.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Have a good week.
See ya. Bye.
Peace. Peace out there. Peace. See ya.